Failure. It's a word that many of us fear, a shadow that follows us whenever we dare to dream big. But what if I told you that failure is not your enemy? What if I told you that failure is, in fact, the greatest teacher you will ever meet? Today, I want to take you on a journey into the heart of failure, and why learning from it is the key to every great success story in human history. The truth about failure. Every person who has achieved something extraordinary in life has one thing in common. They have failed. Not once, not twice, but countless times. The world often only sees the glory, the spotlight, the moment of triumph. But behind every shining moment of victory are scars of failure, nights of doubt, tears of disappointment, and moments when giving up felt easier than pushing forward. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. It is the foundation upon which success is built. Imagine trying to walk as a child. You stumble, you fall, you cry, but then you try again. Eventually, after countless falls, you learn to walk. Nobody looks at a child and says, "You failed, so you'll never walk." Instead, they cheer them on, knowing that every fall is one step closer to balance. So why, when we grow up, do we treat failure as something shameful? Why do we fear it so much that we stop trying? The truth is, failure is not here to break you. It is here to build you. Edison's light of persistence. Let's talk about Thomas Edison. When Edison set out to create the electric light bulb, he failed thousands of times. Some say 1,000. Others say 10,000. The exact number doesn't matter. What matters is that every single attempt brought him closer to the discovery that would change the world. When asked about his so-called failures, Edison famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Think about that. He could have looked at those 10,000 attempts as wasted time, wasted energy, wasted effort. But instead, he reframed failure as feedback. Every failure whispered to him, "Not this way. Try again. Adjust. Keep moving." If Edison had given up after his first 100 attempts, we might still be living in darkness. His story teaches us something powerful. Failure is not the end. It is information. It tells us what doesn't work so we can move closer to what does. The gift hidden inside failure. Failure has a gift for you if you're willing to open it. That gift is wisdom. That gift is resilience. That gift is humility. When you fail, you learn things that success will never teach you. Success feels good, but it rarely makes you grow. Failure, on the other hand, forces you to reflect, to analyze, to question, to dig deeper into yourself. Failure builds character. It teaches you patience. It teaches you the value of persistence. It shows you who you really are when the lights go out and no one is watching. Most importantly, failure strips away illusions. It reminds you that the path to greatness is never straight, never easy, never without sacrifice. The stories of giants who failed. Let's look at history. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I was trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Steve Jobs, fired from his own company, Apple, in 1985. Imagine building something with all your heart only to be thrown out of it. He described it as devastating. But instead of letting failure define him, he used it as fuel. He founded new companies, including Pixar, which transformed animation. Years later, Apple brought him back, and he led it to become one of the most valuable companies on Earth. Without failure, there would be no iPhone, no iMac, no Apple as we know it today. Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential women in the world, was once told she was unfit for television. Imagine that. Unfit for the very thing she would one day dominate. If she had believed that failure, she would have walked away. But she didn't. She turned rejection into motivation, and today her name is synonymous with success. These stories remind us, failure is not a stop sign. It's a detour sign. It redirects you, reshapes you, and refuels you. Why we fear failure? If failure is such a powerful teacher, why do so many of us fear it? Because society has taught us that failure equals weakness. In school, when you fail a test, it's marked in red. You're told it's a bad thing. In jobs, failure is seen as incompetence. In relationships, failure is seen as heartbreak. We grow up believing that failing makes us less than. But the truth is the opposite. Failing means you are trying. Failing means you are growing. Failing means you are alive and moving forward. The only real failure in life is not trying at all. Turning failure into fuel. So how do we transform failure into fuel? Here are some steps you can carry with you. Reframe the story. Instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned. Instead of, I lost, say, I grew. Language matters, because how you describe your failure shapes how you experience it. Analyze without judging. Ask yourself, what went wrong? Why didn't it work? What can I do differently next time? Treat failure as data, not as a definition of who you are. Stay persistent. Remember Edison. Remember Jordan. Remember Jobs. They succeeded because they kept going. Persistence beats talent when talent refuses to keep trying. Detach from perfection. Failure often hurts because we cling to the illusion of perfection. But perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Share your failures. Don't hide them. When you speak openly about failure, you take away its power. You realize you're not alone. Everyone fails. The strongest people are simply those who admit it and keep moving. The silence of failure. Failure has a silence to it. It's the silence you hear after a business idea collapses. It's the silence you feel after rejection. It's the silence in your heart when your dream seems impossible. But inside that silence, something powerful is happening. Your mind is recalibrating. Your soul is toughening. Your vision is sharpening. Failure whispers to you, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something greater. Failure as a compass. Think of failure as a compass. It doesn't just tell you where not to go, it guides you toward where you should go. Every failure is a signpost. Every mistake is a signal. If you pay attention, failure doesn't push you backward, it points you forward. A world without failure. Imagine a world where failure didn't exist. Would there be innovation? Would there be discovery? Would there be growth? No, because progress is born from trial and error. Without failure, we would have no airplanes, no electricity, no medicine, no art. The truth is, failure is proof of courage. Proof that you were brave enough to try. Closing words. So, the next time you fail, don't bury your head in shame. Lift it up. Look at the lesson. Embrace it. Thank it. And then move forward with more wisdom, more strength, and more clarity than before. Remember, failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher. Failure is your stepping stone to greatness. Every failure you endure is preparing you for the day when you succeed. And when that day comes, you will look back, smile, and realize it wasn't despite the failures that you made it. It was because of them.